Okay, this is the Year 6 Science Term 2 Final Exam Revision. Year 6 will take their final exam for Term 2 next Tuesday, May 5th, 2020, from 1 p.m. to 1:50 p.m. on Zoom. So you will download the test and take the exam in front of your camera. The exam covers Chapter 9, and in the textbook, that's page 93 to 112, and in the activity book, page 38 to 42. The final has 3 sections. Section 1 is the vocabulary. This vocabulary test is multiple choice. There will be an ABC answer, and you just write the correct answer for the vocabulary. For Section 2 is a short answer. For example, list 5 natural resources. And then there will be 5 blanks, and you write the 5 natural resources from page 94. And Section 3 is an essay on global warming. This is primarily from the activity book. We discussed several days about global warming, so check your activity book and you will be able to answer that question, no problem. Okay, so if you would please open your books to page 110 and 111, and we will review from the at a glance in the student book. Okay, here is the at a glance. Hopefully you can read this picture. This is just taken from my camera. And this chapter is titled Man and the Environment. And so we'll start here with man. And we see there are 4 directions for the 4 topics. Man needs, man has damaged thee, man has, and man uses. So if we go up first, man needs natural resources. And natural resources are in 2 categories, renewable and non-renewable. And renewable resources, the examples are plants, animals, air, soil, and water. These are the 5 renewable resources listed in the book. And non-renewable resources, such as rocks, minerals, and fossil fuels. And the fossil fuels are oil, natural gas, and coal. So, man needs natural resources from the environment. And we see here, we talked about how to save the environment. The environment can be saved by disposing waste properly, reducing the use of fuels, producing less rubbish, recycling, and using CFC or chlorofluorocarbons, CFC-free products. And so you can see in the book there's examples of these 5 ways we can save the environment and their effect on the environment. So we have man needs natural resources from the environment to survive. If we move to the left now, we have man has damaged the coral reefs. So we talked about the coral reefs in the oceans. And man has damaged coral reefs by global warming. So we talked about global warming. Carbon dioxide is the main greenhouse gas responsible for global warming. And global warming has harmed the coral reefs. Pollution from factories and cities have moved from the cities down the rivers to the sea and have damaged coral reefs. Also overfishing, poison fishing, and blast fishing. All of these types of fishing have damaged the coral reefs. Careless diving or careless scuba diving. It's fine to go look at coral reefs, but don't touch, right? Only look. If we're not careful, we can damage coral reefs through diving. And introducing new invasive species. So man sometimes takes fish from one part of the world and moves them to another part of the world. And this damages the ecosystem, the food webs, and this can lead to damage to the coral reefs. So these 5 points about how man has damaged coral reefs: global warming, pollution, overfishing, poison fishing, and blast fishing, careless diving, and introducing new invasive species. So we see man has damaged the coral reefs, and coral reefs, which are important for these 5 points. Coral reefs are rich diversity of living things. There are many animals that rely on coral reefs for their food, and so if the coral reefs die, the food web is affected. Coral reefs help to control the carbon dioxide level of the ocean. The hard part, the exoskeleton of the coral reef, is made of dissolved carbon dioxide. So when the coral reefs die, that carbon dioxide is released back into the oceans, back into the atmosphere. So it does control of the carbon dioxide level of the ocean. Coral reefs can be used for medicine, or the animals that live around the coral reefs can be used for medicine. Protecting coastal areas from storms, strong currents, and waves. The coral reefs act like a wall in the ocean that protect the beaches from strong waves and storms. And so without the coral reefs, many of the cities along the beaches would be damaged by the waves. And tourism. Many people love to go scuba diving at coral reefs for their many beautiful colors and all the marine life that live around the coral reefs. And if those coral reefs disappear, we have a loss of tourism. So we go back up to man, and we'll look at this point down here. It says man has harmed living things, polluted the environment, upset the natural balance of ecosystems. And these are all the things that man has done accidentally to the environment, through harming of animals, polluting the environment, and unbalancing ecosystems and food webs. And these are the activities that man has done and is doing to the environment. Deforestation is the cutting down of forests. And there are many consequences of deforestation. Littering is also bad for the environment. Releasing human and industrial waste into water bodies. This poisons the oceans and kills marine life. Burning of fossil fuels. When you burn fossil fuels, you are releasing carbon dioxide, among other things, but carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So every time we run our cars, or even burning garbage in our yards, that is releasing fossil fuels. Releasing carbon dioxide into the air. And then finally releasing chlorofluorocarbons into the atmosphere. Chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, create a hole in the ozone layer, and then harmful UV, or ultraviolet light, goes through those holes in the ozone layer, and they can damage the environment and ecosystems as well. And finally, man uses technology and parts of animals and plants. So man uses technology to improve the quality of life. Sometimes these improve the quality of our life, but they harm the environment. So we have to find a balance between technology and what is good for the environment. And also, man uses parts from animals and plants. And the parts from animals are their skin, fins, and horns. And we use those for many things: clothing, medicines, food. And this use causes imbalance in food webs. So if we kill an animal for its skin, we affect the food web, and all the animals in the food web can be affected. And global warming. The use of animal parts does contribute to global warming. And for plants, we have tree trunks, stems and leaves, and seeds. We use the tree trunks for construction, and stems and leaves and seeds for medicines or food or clothing. And when we use these parts of plants, it causes or contributes to global warming, loss of habitat for animals that rely on those trees that we have cut down. It causes pollution, and it also causes soil erosion. The soil becomes loose and the dirt flows into the rivers. The rivers become polluted. The sunlight cannot reach the bottom of the river, and those plants die because they need the sunlight for photosynthesis. So that is the at a glance. It's a lot of information. If you look at your book, you will find more details. So I encourage you to go back, take a look at chapter 9, take a look at the activity book, and we will discuss this more in our next class on, where are my notes? Tomorrow, Wednesday, yes. So take a look, and if you have any questions, we will talk about those on Wednesday. Okay, thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.